Hello all, sometimes games come out and are received relatively well but are overshadowed by a stacked release window and then are unfortunately swept under the rug and forgotten. In today's video I wanted to shine a light on some criminally underrated games. If you enjoyed the video please hit the thumbs up, and if you enjoy JRPG content please consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into the video. A heavily underrated release from Atlus is Soul Hackers 2. As I've mentioned before, if you've watched any of my other content, I'm a massive fan of Atlus games, so maybe there is a hint of bias here, but why it wasn't received so well? Firstly, the game failed to meet the sales expectations of Sega, which may have influenced the overall perception of its success. Given that Atlus has a strong reputation for high quality JRPGs such as Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, Soul Hackers 2 was often compared unfavourably to these titles, and players just expected more innovation and depth to the game. In my opinion though, the game is very good. The game features a compelling narrative which keeps players engaged, and the story is well written and offers a refreshing change from typical JRPG tropes. The characters are well developed and their interactions in my opinion are very enjoyable, and the game focuses on adult characters which provides a different perspective compared to many other JRPGs. The game boasts stylish character designs and a soundtrack which is really good, and it's made by Akabe, known for his work on the Nier series, and the art and music significantly enhances the game's atmosphere. Despite some criticisms such as repetitive dungeon designs, Soul Hackers 2 has many strengths that make an enjoyable experience for fans of the genre. A game series that is often overlooked is the Trails series, which quite frankly baffles me, and I wanted to pinpoint two very underrated entries into the series in Trails in the Sky 1 and 2. The game features a well-crafted narrative that starts with a simple rescue mission and evolves into a complex conspiracy. The story is engaging and keeps players invested throughout. The characters, especially the protags Estelle and Joshua, are well developed with compelling arcs, and their interactions and growth are central to the game's appeal. The turn-based combat system is both strategic and dynamic. Players can use a variety of tactics, including arts and crafts, which are magic and special attacks that overcome challenges. This system adds depth and keeps battles interesting. The game excels in creating a detailed and immersive world, and the world is filled with rich lore, diverse locations and a sense of history that enhances the overall experience. The localization as well is praised for its quality, with witty and engaging dialogue that adds to the charm of the game, and the interactions between characters are often humorous and heartfelt. The soundtrack complements the game's setting and story, enhancing the emotional impact of key moments, and the music really does help to create a memorable and immersive atmosphere. The second chapter picks up immediately where the first chapter ends, and the cliffhanger at the end of the first chapter sets the stage for the events in the second chapter, ensuring a seamless transition between the two games. Many of the plot threads introduced in the first chapter are further explored and resolved in the second chapter. This includes the overarching conspiracy and the mystery surrounding the characters and the world. I won't go too much into detail into this because I don't want to spoil anything, because the story is a real highlight of the game. But overall, Trails in the Sky 1 and 2 stands out due to its strong storytelling, memorable characters and strategic gameplay. For the purpose of explaining what this game was trying to achieve, and in my opinion it does a good job of it, it's worth mentioning that this game was advertised as a Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem crossover. However, it's a bit distorted if I'm honest, as the cast from Fire Emblem who assist in battle literally do work in the same way as Personas. For me that's fine because I love Persona. Some would say this is a Persona clone, but personally I don't think there's anything wrong with piggybacking off the success of a popular game series, as long as you bring something fun and different to the table. Tokyo Mirage Sessions blends elements from the Persona and Fire Emblem series, creating a unique experience that applies to fans of both franchises. The combat is turn-based and features a system called Sessions, where players can chain attacks by exploiting enemy weaknesses. This mechanic adds depth and strategy to battles, making them more exciting and dynamic. Set in modern day Tokyo, the game is infused with J-pop culture, colourful visuals and a lively atmosphere. The setting and style are refreshing and distinct, providing a joyful and immersive experience. The game features a fantastic soundtrack with original J-pop songs performed by characters. These performances are integrated into the gameplay, enhancing the overall experience and making it more memorable. Each character has their own side stories and personal growth arcs, which are explored through side quests. These quests often accumulate in high quality music videos, adding depth to the characters and making them more relatable. Unlike some other JRPGs that can be quite dark and serious, Tokyo Mirage Sessions maintains a lighter, more upbeat tone that makes it a great choice for players looking for a fun and less intense RPG experience. It was always going to be a very difficult task to follow up the success of Ys 8, which is arguably the best in the Ys series. However, Ys 9 is still a massively underlooked entry into the series. The game features fast-paced act-and combat that is both satisfying and accessible. The addition of monstrum abilities adds a new layer of strategy and excitement to the battles. The game introduces new movement abilities that make exploring the city a joy, and these abilities allow for vertical exploration, adding depth to the game's world. The Gothic city provides a unique and immersive setting. The darker, more brooding atmosphere is a departure from the previous game's tropical setting, offering a fresh experience to players. The music in Ys 9 is still very good and enhances the overall atmosphere of the game, and the soundtrack is known for its high energy tracks that complement the action and exploration. The game includes numerous side quests that flesh out the world and its inhabitants, and these quests often provide additional character development and lore, making the world feel more alive. Overall, Ys 9 still stands out due to its engaging combat, compelling characters and immersive setting. So if you enjoyed Ys 8, definitely give Ys 9 a go, because it's still a fantastic game that is massively underlooked. The Breath of Fire series is long forgotten by many, which is a real shame. Many fans of the series would love a reboot, and maybe one day we'll get one. But what made Breath of Fire so good? For many players, they had fond memories of playing the series during their childhood. The games are a significant part of that gaming experience, and revisiting them brings back that nostalgic feeling. The series is known for its memorable characters like Ryo and Nina, and its engaging storylines, with each game in the series offering a unique narrative that did captivate players. Breath of Fire as well introduced various innovative gameplay mechanics, such as the ability to transform into a dragon. These elements set the series apart from other JRPGs at the time. The series was praised for its beautiful art and music, and the visual style and soundtrack of each game contributed significantly to the overall atmosphere and immersion. Many fans hope for a revival or remaster of the series. The lack of new entries since Breath of Fire 6, which was really not well received, has left fans longing for a return to the series and its roots. And if you've never played a Breath of Fire game, definitely give these a go. I do believe they're still on Nintendo Switch Online, so that is a very good way to check these out. Wild Arms 2 was not very well received by a lot of critics and did receive mixed reviews upon its release. Wild Arms 2 is set in the world of Filgaia, a planet with science fiction, steampunk and traditional fantasy elements, such as magic and demons. Firearms called arms represent Filgaia's ever-growing warfare technology, and unlike the first Wild Arms, are not considered inherently dangerous. Similar technology is used to create other mechanical weaponry, including cybernetic limbs and miniature robots. Other forms of high technology such as aircraft, motorised vehicles and radio devices also appear through some of their usage, and it's attributed to magic rather than science. The game does feature a complex and intriguing plot with numerous twists and turns. The narrative explores themes of heroism, sacrifice and the struggle between good and evil, which keeps players invested. The characters in Wild Arms 2 are well developed, each with their own backstories and motivations. And as I mentioned, the game blends elements of sci-fi, fantasy and the Wild West, creating a unique and memorable world. The setting distinguishes it from the other RPGs of its time. Wild Arms 2 offers a mixture of traditional turn-based combat and puzzle-solving elements, and each character has unique abilities that are used to solve puzzles and navigate dungeons, adding variety to the gameplay. Despite some criticism such as a subpar translation, Wild Arms 2 remains a beloved title for many RPG fans due to its rich story, memorable characters and unique settings, and it's one that everyone should give a go if they are into their JRPGs. Now on to a really controversial one in Final Fantasy XIII, and this received mixed reactions for many reasons. One of the most common criticisms was the game's linear structure, especially in the first half. Players felt restricted as they were funneled through narrow corridors with limited exploration opportunities. If you do see it out through the first half, the game really does improve once you get halfway through. Also, people didn't like the lack of towns and NPCs to interact with. This absence made the world feel less immersive and dynamic. The story is also considered a little bit convoluted and difficult to follow, but if you could get your head around it, you can really get into the plot. I think the narrative was actually not as bad as people led on. Coming off the success of the last Final Fantasy as well, and Final Fantasy XII, a lot of players were disappointed, but despite these criticisms, Final Fantasy XIII did have its strengths, such as stunning graphics for the PS3, a very memorable soundtrack, and a unique combat system that was really intuitive that players did really enjoy. If you were a little bit put off by Final Fantasy XIII originally, I would really give it a go. Give it a go again in 2024, and do let me know what you think of it if you do decide to give it a go in the comments below. Now, I do appreciate there are tons of criminally underrated JRPGs over the years. Any you think I should check out, let me know in the comments below. Disagree with anything I've said? Again, let me know in the comments below. But if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel, and until next time, I'll see you later.